Greg. Mike. Two bandits. Watching Bluey.
This episode is called Fancy Restaurant with Chef Mike.
What up, party people, and welcome to episode 69 of Two Bandits Watching Bluey.
Nice.
I'm you children I'm with today. I'm your good pal, Greg Painter.
Yes,
and with me
I see him right there.
is the sometimes nice, sometimes not so nice Mr.
I go by Mike Martin. What's up, buddy? How you feeling today?
I'm doing great today, and I'm doing extra great today because we have an extra special guest today.
Ooh, sounds fancy.
We are here. Look at you with your segues. We are here to talk fancy restaurants, and I'm not any culinary expert over here, so we figured we need a chef on the show.
Now try to say my last name because I did not explain it to you. So go ahead and give it a shot, and then I will correct you.
Oh, you put me on the spot, but he's a former McDonald's chef.
Spell it first.
Responsible for the return of the Szechuan sauce, which I can pronounce that. For a few years back, he's the host of Chef Mike Does Stuff on YouTube, and he's now and forever a fan of Bluey. His name is Chef Mike Haracz.
No, it's actually just Harris. Like it's spelled goofy Polish.
Oh, that's cheating, Mike.
Yeah, it's goofy Polish, which is why nobody gets it right. It's goofy Polish.
I am on a call with a Mike who spells his name M-I-E-K and a Mr. Harris who spells his name H-A-R-C-Z. I have been set up for failure here. But Mike, both Mikes, but especially Chef Mike, it's great to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
I am so excited to talk about Bluey. Because I have two daughters, 3 and 5, and it is on repeat most days, just over and over. And it is one of the shows, as super fans would know. Like I'll keep watching this one. Absolutely, leave it on.
And then they come home, and then you start watching it again.
Absolutely. And they go to bed, and I'm like, oh, well, let's wait until the episode's over. We can't just not watch the episodes.
Oh, the intro started again.
I remember when some of the newer episodes on season 3 came out, and we were starting to watch them. I was like, yeah, we'll watch them with the kids, but let's have a glass of wine tonight, and let's get a real deep watch in right here.
Get a good cry. We'll have a good cry together about how wholesome it is, and have some wine.
Perfect. So you kind of went into a little bit, but what is your Bluey origin story? What was kind of the first episode that really dragged you in and that really made you the Bluey super fan that you are?
I mean, it's probably the one that a lot of the parents agree with, where it's the one where Bluey is learning to walk, and Chili is at like the support group, thinks she's doing a bad job. Everyone compares their children to other children's progress, which everyone knows you shouldn't do. And that whole episode, especially when you first watch it as a parent, that's the one, I think, when you realize that, hey, this show isn't just for children. There are little things in there that are absolutely for the parents, for adults, that are just so wholesome and lovely. And I was emotional enough before I had children, but I fully admit, once I had children, it could be ASPCA commercial, it could be a St. Jude's commercial, it could be any of those, and I just like somebody being nice and wholesome, like giving charitable things out on the street to random people, and it just melts my friggin' heart. So
Mike,
I think
you're doing a great job.
Thank you so much. We don't hear that enough.
We're not here today, though, to get deep and sentimental, though, folks. We're here for Fancy Restaurant. I don't think we get too many tears based out of Fancy Restaurant.
No, I don't really get tears, but
from cutting the onions, maybe. But before we get too deep into this, let's see what our friends at Wiki Bluey have to say about this one.
Hey, Greg.
Yeah?
What's a fancy restaurant?
Bingo and Bluey want Mom and Dad to smoochy kiss, so they set up a romantic evening for two at their fancy restaurant. Everything goes to plan until Chef Bingo's special arrives. So that's actually a pretty good little synopsis of this one. They don't always hit it right between the bullseye, but that was a pretty good one there. But Mike, as our guest,
I'm not used to this, man.
Chef Mike, We've got Chef Mike and we got Podcast Boy Mike. That's how
other Mike, regular Mike, and Chef
regular Mike and Mike Extra Crispy.
I'll be in the corner. It's all good, guys.
But Chef, we'll just call you Chef. That sounds fun. What was your thoughts on this episode?
First of all, I think this is one of those episodes, to me, watching it, is geared to the parent. There is a lot more parent stuff. There's a lot more, how do you know about romance? Oh, I saw it on TV. Oh, okay. And as you progress through the story, those of us who have children, jobs, hobbies, you have limited time, maybe you have to work out also in the day, you realize that there are those days when you're exhausted. And there are some times when you do realize, like, I haven't taken my significant other out on a date in I don't know how long, because we're just trying to day by day live and keep the kids happy and fed and all these things. So I'm a big fan of this episode for sure.
1000%. It's very much you sit there and you just think, man, when's the last time that we went out? When's the last time that we just had a moment to think together and be like, oh, without realizing you've got one or two littlies running around.
Yep.
Oh,
exactly. And too, as a fellow Chef Mike, as a fellow 2-kid haver, it also is really hard too to be,
because you get interrupted every 5 minutes.
Exactly.
And then you have to I did that on purpose, obviously.
And then it gets to the point where not only do you not get the romance, you get to the point where you're just sitting on the couch cutting your toenails with a pair of scissors.
Ooh, that's a good one. Like, ugh.
That was a good one.
But it's true. You do get to the point sometimes. You've got kids. Kids are gross. I think we can say that pretty fairly.
Yeah.
And then you kind of forget, I shouldn't be gross too, though. You know, that's the kind of the kid level of, I'm just gonna chuck my fingernails at you while you're trying to read your nice, I'm gonna say spy novel or detective romance thriller that Chili was rocking.
What's difficult in the situation is finding time without the kids to have not only romance time and smoochy kisses, but just finding time to do daily maintenance.
Yeah, the bills,
right.
Daily maintenance, bathroom by yourself. Yeah, all of those things. And that's another perspective of what the viewer thinks traditional romance, going out on a date, swooning, writing a poem, making a fancy dinner.
Right.
But as the episode shows, if you are in, hopefully a healthy relationship, trying to raise kids, there's those little things that you are doing that aren't necessarily traditional romance, but you are absolutely keeping your partner in top of mind and trying to help support the family system, which is incredibly important. So those things count and have value, as well as the
so strong in this episode too.
And the definition,
where it's the small things,
adding
what the romance is in Bandit and Chili.
And like you said, this is a very much not all the way. I mean, there's plenty for the kids in this one, plenty for the kids. But you kind of see very much that what romance means evolves the longer that you've been together. Where something as much as taking the bullet of the special meal is the most romantic thing you can do, because it made the kids happy, and Chili's not the one throwing up on the yard later on.
It'd be like,
go for it.
I was going to say, like in my house, we literally alternate bath time day. It's my day today. You do it tomorrow. We get a good 10 minutes to ourselves that time. So romance could be, you know what, honey, you had a really hard day. I'll totally do bath time. You go relax. A little thing like that when you are super busy. So like, to put things in perspective, real quick, I now have to commute. So I've been working at my current job for about 8 months now. I added, from working from home, 2 hours of driving a day in traffic. Oof. I'm pickup person, so I pick up the kids right when they get home. Got to feed them, have dinner. I'm a chef, and my kids eat like trash. It's put food in your mouth. Put food in your mouth. Time to eat. You better finish before bath time, or else you're going to bed early. Like, they just don't want to eat. So then it's bath time. Then they want to play a little bit. Then it's time to put them down for bed. And I'm trying to be healthy. So once they're in bed, I work out for an hour and a half. So 7 a.m. I wake up. It's dad mode. Get ready for work. Then at about 10:30 or 11 p.m. when I'm done working out, it's time to relax. And that means go to sleep. So there is not a lot of time for the romance. So those little things of, oh, baby, I made dinner, earlier today. We could just reheat it to give you a couple extra minutes to just decompress. Like, I cannot thank you enough. Thank you so much. Those little things to me still count and add value in that kind of relationship.
I totally agree with you in that situation, because it's a matter of trying to figure out if you're coming up with excuses of why you're being romantic or doing things in your daily life, and that way you can have the checklist of saying, hey, I did do that. I did that. I did that. Like, don't worry, I am still being romantic. And you see that a lot in Bandit in this one, where he's like, I'm not that.
And he's trying to put on airs with it too. He's trying to be Romeo McGlourish and acting all big and bad. When Chili just like, teach him about romance. Teach him about romance, kids. Because we're not smoochy kissing in front of you until you teach him about romance.
But to be fair, Chili does admit, like, you know what? I've been just assuming you are supposed to bring me the romance. And Chili also says, you know what? I don't know romance either, because there's not the reciprocation necessarily in that scenario. So I don't think it's like I'm romantic, you're not. It's both of them realize, like, yeah, life happens. We got to deal with it.
Chili's like, this is the first date, which puts a whole twist
we're not
on the
married.
whole thought process.
We met 5 minutes ago.
Like, great. Okay, so Romeo McGlourish is on first date mode.
And I know we're bouncing down a little bit here, but they've only met 5 minutes ago. He forgot her name. That's not that bad. 5 minutes. Don't remember her name. I didn't hear a proper intro. There's
she
worse
didn't give
things.
a name yet. She has not given a name at all.
Exactly. And he got thrown in the bus by her for that one.
Yeah, right. Real nice.
But I am curious to the dueling mics.
Uh-oh.
Bingo and Bluey run up, smoochy kiss for us. We want to see you smoochy kiss. My kids do that too. Like, kiss mommy. I feel like that's super weird. Is that something that our kids learn from Bluey that we should break them the habit of? Or do your kids have like, hey, give mommy a kiss?
It's 0 for 1 right now. They're Greg out on the mics, just so you know.
It's not been kind of in your face, like, I want to watch you. Ooh. And I don't know if just because that's how the kids are raised. That's how, we're affectionate in front of the kids. It's not like we're standoffish. Like, let's just put as gentle as I could put this. I'm hands-on with the wife. So, I'm a groper. I'm going to fully admit it. So
Bluey and Bingo came from somewhere.
so there's a lot of my daughters run up to the wife and spank butts, and do this kind of stuff or poke whatnot. And I'm like, well, I'm doing it a little different than you guys are, but
oh yeah, my daughter once ran up and smacked my wife right on the butt, and I got the dirtiest look in the world. Yeah, she didn't get anything. I got the look of death though when it happened.
It is absolutely my fault. So they kind of play in that space, not so much like, let's see you kiss or like provoke that, but they,
show
they know
affection in their own ways.
Yeah. Yes. My kids are also under the belief that if you kiss somebody, you are then married. So we might have to work on that confusion level too, or that could make some adolescence years very different. But
okay, and
let's pump the brakes on that one.
Okay. Go for it, Mike. I was going to ask, Greg, your 2 kids, do you have boys, girls?
2 girls, 8 and 5.
I have 2 girls as well, so I don't know if
flying solo with 1 boy.
1 boy, so it might be a different scenario. Side note, another thing I love about Bluey, the show, is that Bluey and Bingo, that's kind of irrelevant. It's touched upon a little bit, like whether Bluey and Bingo are girls, which
for sure
they are and all that. But it is not a girl or boy show. They're just the kids.
Yep. Exactly.
That is great. Like, it is wholesome for everybody. I do love that kind of how they pull that off as well.
There's a fun little segment when they're starting to have their fancy dinner together, and Romeo McGlourish is with Chili, unnamed. Sorry, but she doesn't have a name in the episode. And something happens, and Bingo shows up with the baked beans, and she slams it on the table, and there's a little pot there with a flower. And he shows it when they start the fancy date, and Chili just takes it, and she sets it down by the side of the table, like, I'm going to have the fancy dinner. You ain't breaking my pot.
Yeah.
And she sets it down. The entire evening goes on, but it's just this low moment. She's like,
I did enjoy the little bit of pre-pro we had too. We had you can see slightly in the background, one of the gnomes is also having a fancy dinner at the restaurant in the background too. So it's not just a private restaurant.
Oh, I gotta check that out. I love those from the shopping episode where is everything free and they get the little paint swatches. Those are free.
Now.
So I gotta ask,
Okay.
we have a chef on the show.
Uh-oh.
How do you fancy up baked beans?
Oh man, that's a hard one because you can associate it with barbecue and like the baked beans is the side dish. But what I would usually do is, because I'm a carnivore, sorry if you are vegetarian, I support you, but I load it with like cooked bacon or ground meat, brown sugar, all of these things, so it is an incredibly indulgent, sweet, barbecue-y, leftover burnt ends, beef brisket or whatever. So I'll plus it up that way, but it is, I wouldn't say the most photogenic of foods. It's kind of,
That's a true
it is
statement.
what it is. So fancying that up now, they being Australian, beans on toast, and the UK, I think, is popular part of breakfast. So there's some other ways that they eat baked beans in their daily life that's a little different than us US folk. So there may be some other options there, but as far as I'm concerned, it's like indulgent, tasty side, not the romantic food item.
I like the bacon idea. I think the bacon grease might have been a little difficult for Bingo, but I like where your head's at.
Correct.
She would have made it work. She had they have so many ready lined up at the front of the restaurant, which is the same setup that they have for the doctor's episode, which is fun.
Oh yeah?
If you walk in, when they walk in, it's the same arched little area, the basically reading nook, and you see the same little setup that they have for the room at the fancy restaurant.
Well, it's nice to know they don't have endless toys. They're recycling the usage on things, so that is good to know.
Yes.
There is constructive imagination going on.
I like that.
But it's a great setup, though. They got the silverware, so you know it's fancy. They've got the handmade menus. What I very much enjoy, though, we get to the baked beans episode. What's the special?
Yeah.
The what? The special. That feels... That was very relatable for me. Just walk into the other room, my dude. Walk into the other room so they can hear you. Just the over loud screaming. And you can just see Chili cringing every time they scream.
That's the first date.
And we don't have specials. We just don't. I'm not gonna even confirm.
Well, we hear things every now and then. I mean, as a diner cook for a long time, sometimes the special was the thing that was getting set to turn. So you got to make the special.
Oh, you got to use it up. We got a lot of chicken left over. Let's make a chicken thing.
It's the special.
Well, we'll get there in a second, but I think Bingo did the same darn thing when we get to that fridge, because, oh, buddy, that's special.
I think she's the best Jell-O chef you've ever met, personally. So that's fine.
Yep.
But we get just the small things, too, in this. Please enjoy your cutlery. Just
Chili doesn't have a fork.
Oh, she does.
So good.
She's only got a spoon.
Well, it's romance. You share.
Yes.
Share the fork.
The keytar.
Each other.
The keytar was fantastic.
Oh my god. I mean, I am the music guy, what have you, and I saw that Vivaldi was credit in the music. It has to be from the keytar, right? That's where Vivaldi came in. I'm floating solo.
Really?
But you are Mr. Guitars behind you. I don't know.
Shut up. But I saw Vivaldi when I was watching it the last time. I'm like, it has to be from Bluey playing guitar at the end or in the middle there. It has to be, right?
I would think so. Yeah, I would think so.
Yes, and
that's the spirit.
So one I really liked here, and I want to, Chef Mike, I want to see what if you've experienced any of these things. Hey, Dodgy Twins. When Bandit goes to the kitchen to talk to them, hey, Dodgy Twins. A lot of times, I throw that one at my girls sometimes, just when they're being goofballs. Do you have any like Blueyisms that have snuck into your life? Be it what you call your kids, be it things you say around the house.
Dollar bucks. I absolutely lose that all the time.
Yes.
What are some other good ones that we use? They come and go, like, especially if we're watching the episode, that usually translates into the things they want to do. More often than you would expect, I have absolutely, from my older, but Bluey and Bingo's parents will do it.
Oh, I've never heard that. Oh no,
because Bluey and Bingo parents are the best of us, where it's like, oh, it's playtime, we'll just play along. Where us with lives are like, I just walked in the door and got home. I can I go to the restroom? Can I put my stuff down? Bluey, Chili and Bandit we're in dance mode.
It's okay.
Middle of public. Let's go.
It's right in that corner. Just go to the restroom in that corner.
I was going to say that was one of my favorite parts because Chili literally axed it out. She sits there, does a little sit, kind of.
Oh, does it go to the restroom?
She flushes the toilet to come back.
She has that every time. Romantic. She just sits there. She's like,
I'm not sure what the Australian version of the Groundlings is or what improv theater they did in high school, but they yes and with the best of them 100% of the time.
Yeah, so I've gotten, but they did it on the show. Why can't we do it? Come on.
Nope, we can. We got the Chef Mike.
Yep, we got to.
And enjoy. We keep on rocking this episode. Bluey giving her dad a pep talk on how to be romantic and how to you've got to do this, old man, basically. Just trying to get him to get on his game to no avail.
Come on, Romeo.
But then we get to it. We get to the main event. We get to the main course here. We got Bingo going to the fridge.
Okay.
We've got pickles, strawberries, sausage, peas, anchovies, I think I saw in there.
Yeah.
There also end up being some mashed potatoes and gravy.
You dang right. And some broccoli in the middle.
There was some broccoli. I missed the broccoli on here. Hey, Chef Mike, make that a meal, please. How can you do that? That's what we brought you on for. Come on, you make the magic happen.
Those components would be their own things. I would not combine all those things into a big Jell-O mold volcano of flavors and questionable old foods. I think there was an olive. I think there were olives.
There were olives there too. Yes, sir.
And like other Mike said, that's what was wasting away in the fridge. God knows how long some of that stuff has been in there. Because I know our fridge probably has some questionably timed items that we need to get rid of at some point.
Okay. A question for the class then.
Uh-oh.
How many bites are you taking out of Bingo's special here, folks?
Ooh.
I mean...
That's where the romance comes. That's where the taking the bullet
I would like
comes.
Both of you to show me your romance. How many bites are you taking?
I was gagging watching Bandit.
Mike's shaking his head.
Yeah, you first.
I would try that one bite, and I think I would try to gauge the bite. Like, I've got a story for it. My daughter decided one day, we're going to have a tea party. And I was like, oh, that's delightful. We'll do a tea party. And I was assuming it was going to be some fake water, just like, here's an empty cup. She brings up a cup and sets it down in front of me. And it sure is her teacup with water in it. And with also a good layer of maybe some crayon residue and dust from just being part of a teapot.
Yes.
So I just do the sip. Ooh, that's good. No, Daddy, you have to drink it.
Yep.
Cool.
And then she'll sneeze in your mouth while it's open. Like, why are you cover your mouth, please? And
I got me one good sip in and set it down. I was like, that was so good.
You did not answer the question.
Whoops, I spilled it. So I'd have that one bite.
Okay.
I'd be I wouldn't go all Bandit with it and take that big mega scoop with every flavor. I would dip into the side of that Jell-O and go for it. What do you got, Chef Mike?
My issue is from the food safety aspect. Like, let's say my kids grabbed raw chicken and threw it on there. I'm going to be like, listen, not only do you need to wash your hands, I cannot eat this. Okay?
This episode's called Inspection.
Hey, Mike, but Bluey's dad would do it.
He would do it. That's the Bandit healer, you. And he's the bad brother, too. First of all, I'd like to point out that he is the mean brother, which I'm glad he's nicer now. But
people change with time.
Yes.
Kids soften you, as you mentioned earlier.
Based on what's on there, I probably would give it a bite. I don't think anything looked spoiled. Like,
I agree.
If the strawberries had, a cotton ball of fuzz all on it, that's not. If it's just poorly mixed food items, I'd probably be more than likely trying it.
I would have been snagging the sandwich first.
Oh, you would have
because it's right in the corner and just be like, feel like I got you. Don't worry. Look at me. I'm going full sandwich.
Smart. You win. That's a smart take right there.
Well, I don't know because I don't know what the response is. Being like, that's not the full special because Bandit does go full special.
Oh, he was told eat the whole thing. Yikes.
They could have done a little switcheroo or like, hey, girls, can you go with mom real quick to get something else? Throw it. No, I'm so full.
It was
so
delicious.
Good.
That 100% happened. Hey, Olivia, turn down the sound. The podcast, nothing's interesting happening right now. That 100% happened with a D. It was that one sip, and then I just cleaned up the water spill afterwards when I dumped it on the floor.
Smart. Very smart. Very, very smart.
Gotta do what you gotta do. But you touched on it earlier. This is where the romance comes. You're taking one for the team. You don't want a sad kid, but you don't want your wife to get sick. So sometimes you go that extra mile, whether it's making dinner that night, whether it's putting the kiddos down, whether it's say, hey, take a walk around the block and get your head together so you don't want to strangle anybody. It's those little things that make it matter. And that's kind of where we end here. We're not smoochy kissing, because I don't think anybody wants to kiss Bandit right now, but we're holding hands, we're rubbing backs, and our kids are happy.
Something cool about the episode is that Chili knows it's not going to be a romantic experience. And she does treat it sneakily like, oh, it's our first date. Or he's like, oh, we're already married. First date. So he's trying to be romantic, but he realizes she's going to just catch him on his bluff here, just like, this is where we're at now. And he realizes it and just says, hey, I'm trying to be romantic. I'm working on it.
It's like the romance isn't coming, is it?
Right.
No, I kind of forgot.
And then he does the small nuance, and she says, or you see it happening where she realizes you're being romantic.
Yeah.
Oh. And it's super cool, man, because it's how, not unfortunately, but it's just how romance happens when you have children. Yep. It's only when the moon is up and the kids are in bed that you're like, oh, we can just be ourselves again.
Yeah. And I think the last line, which is the most important part of what Bluey and Bingo learn, is, well, they're not smoochy kissing, but that's still romantic, right? Yeah, that's still romantic. So now they aren't just assuming smoochy kisses is romantic. There are other ways to be romantic with your significant other that aren't conventional. And I think they're learning that by their experience there, which is like...
Very well said.
I'm not the only Mike that Bluey's.
This guy Bluey's. All right, well, with that, then I think we put a good bow on this episode. So, Chef Mike, I got a question for you.
Yes.
What was your favorite thing this episode?
Ooh,
probably Chili pantomiming going to the restroom. I think that part was funny. I love the fact that it is the sneaky episode for parents. Side note that I need to throw in there is I saw was it Colbert or one of the late night shows where the voice of Chili and Bandit are on the show, and they're like
Jimmy Fallon they were on?
Yes.
Yeah, Jimmy Fallon. We've never met. This is the first time, and we as Bluey super fans are like,
what?
You're a wholesome family. Everyone's doing this on purpose. You love each other. You're, like a Marvel movie community where they're sad when they're like, no, I'm the voice actor. The kids, we don't even credit them because they want to be private, so we don't even know who the kids voice actor, that's somebody's children's and all this thing. And the fact that the show is still so wholesome,
yes,
while learning that like their voice, they don't know each other, gives a little credibility to the writing, to the way that it was created. Like, I love kind of learning about that and how the show functions. So, yes, I love everything about it.
Hey, Mike. Hey, OG Mike.
Yes?
What was your favorite thing?
My favorite thing was going to be the bathroom, but it happens in life, so you got to have a backup. And it's what's the special? What? What's the special? What? Bingo doesn't know what's going on. She's a chef. She's hosting a fancy restaurant, and in her head, the baked beans are the special. Until Bandit shows up and calls her out. She's like, that is the special. Baked beans. I love it. It makes me happy. That is the special. What I make is special. Greg.
Yes.
What was your favorite thing today, man?
To romance. And that big old first bite. Bandit committed hard. He was there for his chili. And just the way that he sold that and owned that was just a beautiful thing.
Oh, God.
Gotta love
awesome.
this family.
All right, Chef Mike. Yeah, from one Mike to another. Who was your favorite character?
Oh, you have to give props to Bandit for taking it for the team, and him also realizing, like, yeah, I don't remember traditional romance, but there are things I can do to make not only my children happy, my significant other happy, that's taking it for the team. And I think he kind of learns, even if maybe they didn't learn, maybe they kind of already knew because they've had children for a long time now, but at least in the show, it seems like he has the realization that there are things that I can do to be romantic without it being the traditional sucking face and bum bongos on your significant other, any of that. So,
oh man, Greg.
Yes, sir.
You got to follow it up then. Who's your favorite character?
It's also Bandit.
Dang it! Are we 3 for 3?
2 for 2 right now. Come 3 for 3. He's great. He brings the funny. We got Romeo McGlourish. We got the goofball Bandit at the start, clipping his fingernails with scissors, which is a good take too, because that's I don't have a dog, sadly. Sure. That's how you cut dogs' nails, right? With actual scissors, not clippers.
I use dog clippers.
I think there's a couple options. There's a couple options.
But that, and then just like taking one for the team.
No paper scissors going on my dog's nails.
I know you said the kids had the last line of this episode, but he actually had the last line of.
No, that's true.
All right.
So he made the magic happen. Got to go with the Man Bandit.
So since you don't get to ask me because it is Bandit today, unfortunately, I think this is the first time. It's just been
for three-peat.
Full Bandit mode. Best nickname, Bert Handsome or Romeo McGlourish? Ooh. Which one's the better name?
I think Romeo McGlourish. Yeah, it's a little more suave sounding, a little more like
I love Bert
Rico
Handsome.
Suave. Versus the other one's a little more, like entertainment value of the name, like somebody works in that industry could be that name. Or not that Romeo McGlourish is.
I feel like Burt Handsome is the Burt Reynolds. Romeo McGlourish is the Antonio Banderas. So
I like that. Yeah,
he's got the more flavor to him.
That is a great comparison.
Well, then, third and final question, Chef Mike. How do you rank this episode?
This episode's up there for me. Just because I do like the episodes where somebody's learning a lesson, which there's quite a bit of those, but the fact that this is more parent focused. Mm-hmm. Just like the one that I was saying, one of my favorite episodes is when the Bluey's learning to walk and comparing, your child to other children, those kinds of things when they can make an entertaining kids show, like Sesame Street or Mr. Rogers. Like, those are, I think, very much geared towards just the child. There are things in Sesame Street that transcend that, but I think this show and this episode specifically, this is really for the parents to kind of understand that kind of scenario a lot of people are in. It's up there. It's up there for sure.
Okay. Michael?
Which Mike?
This episode?
Still getting used to this.
Blue glasses. OG Mike.
Oh, okay.
Guitar Mike. Podcast Mike. Sure.
What?
How do you rank this episode?
I rank this episode one certain shade of green.
Oh,
that Bandit turns. Uh-oh.
Is that how
that's right. You never gave your actual.
I thought you wanted me to rank this out of the 180 episodes.
Yeah, good luck with that, dude.
Oh, okay. Then I give this episode $4.50.
Hey! There you go.
Which I would spend at the fancy restaurant. Sorry, I did not know. That was my bad.
No, there's no bad.
You thought when I said Mike earlier, you thought I meant the other Mike. That's very clear what happened.
For sure. The best of us. It's an original name. It's just only cool kids have it.
One green.
Yes. One green shade of Bandits that you see at the end of the episode, because I don't think you see a green dog in the entire show of Bluey, except for that 1/2 second right before you hear bleh.
So, poor guy.
Greg, how in the world, I get to say this, how in the world are you ranking this episode 69 of Bluey Fancy Restaurant?
I ranked this one stomach pump for Bandit after finishing that frightful meal.
I gotta interrupt again.
Go ahead, dude.
is the shtick that I have to rank it based off of something in the episode? Because
Nope.
then I could also
do
rank
what
it
you want.
We exist the way we exist, dude.
4.5 pantomimed chili flushes
There we
in the
go.
bathroom. Okay, there we go.
Look at this guy triple ranking this one.
This
I
guy
didn't
fancy
know-
restaurants.
I needed to know what the ranking system was first.
There isn't one.
There are no rules, just right. Chef Mike, thank you so much. Anything you would like to plug before we take off today?
You could look up my name on all the socials. I've been hitting that tickety talk a lot lately. But yeah, and my last name is spelled just like it sounds. Haracz. Mike Harris.
Try.
Thank you, Chef Mike. Really quick from us, linktr.ee/watchingbluey. Our merch, our Patreon, our socials, our TikTok. Not quite as fancy on TikTok as Chef Mike, but we're trying. We're trying. Couple quick shout outs too. Thank you to Belinda Mills, $5 patron. We really appreciate you. Send us in your episode and we will do it for you. Also want to shout out another podcast, the Pub Trivia Podcast.
Yes.
We had a great episode on there with the ladies from Gotta Be Done.
We
had
finally
a
met
Bluey
them.
Battle Royal. So check that out.
Yes.
Pub Trivia Podcast. And then right before our fancy Aussie plug, we got 3 people to thank because we had a fun day, Chef Mike, before you showed up. We got mail.
What?
We got our first mail from the P.O. Box. So thank you so much to Sophia K. from Oregon for the adorable letter you sent.
Oh my
Henry
goodness.
D for the letter and art. Henry D for letter and art. And an insane big thanks, lastly and most importantly, Matthew Braun from Australia, who sent a ridiculous care package with
Oodles
and food and tomato sauce and pavlova mix and much more.
That's the coolest thing I have ever heard. Somebody from Australia sending you stuff. That
We got some Allen's fantails.
Made our day. So P.O. Box
thank you
2372
so much.
Syracuse, New York 13220. If you want to send
you
else.
rock.
And to the 3 people I mentioned, you're going to have something in the mail from us shortly.
This caramel tastes so Australian.
And last, speaking of things Australian, lastly,
And most importantly,
if you are looking to have a fancy restaurant experience in Australia, why don't you check out Lambert's Restaurant at Kangaroo Point, Brisbane, where they use high-quality, fresh, locally sourced ingredients to create innovative, modern, and dare I say, fancy Australian cuisine. For reservations, go to lambertsrestaurant.com.au.
shocking.
So, question. Is this like a part? They're like, hey, we know you have a show. Can you shout us out? Or did you find an Australian restaurant that are like,
We're
hey,
organic, baby.
We do
So
our ads
awesome.
our own way. We
love
make our
this
own magic, Mike.
so much.
Do you know why we make our own magic, Mike?
Which one?
Because
I see what you did there.
gotta be done.
It's gotta be done.
Gotta be done.